Credit cards are weird. Because if I sell you this sandwich for $10, your brain goes, that's expensive. But if I hand you this, a shiny piece of plastic, and say, pay later, suddenly your brain transforms into a financially unstable raccoon with access to online shopping. Now you're buying luxury sandwiches, emotional support cookies, and a Bluetooth toaster for reasons even scientists cannot explain. And the terrifying part? Banks know this works. In fact, the entire credit card industry is basically built around one scientific discovery. Humans stop behaving rationally the second spending money becomes invisible. Which is why people willingly go into debt for reward points and airport lounge access. So today, we're going to explain how credit cards trap you using sandwiches, because somehow that's still less confusing than actual economics. Okay, imagine there's a sandwich shop called Bread Bank, and Bread Bank has an incredible business model. You walk in with no money, and instead of saying, "Leave immediately, peasant," they say, "Take as many sandwiches as you want," which sounds amazing at first, because humans love free stuff. Actually, no. Humans become clinically insane around free stuff. People will fight for free samples, free trials, free tote bags, and tiny cubes of cheese at supermarkets. Human dignity collapses surprisingly fast around discounted snacks. So when banks say, "Here's unlimited spending power," your brain doesn't hear future debt. It hears free sandwiches. And that is where civilization begins to collapse. Cash feels painful. When you physically hand over money, your brain experiences something psychologists literally call the pain of paying. Because your monkey brain sees resources disappearing. It's like watching one of your tribe members getting eaten by a tiger. Very emotional. But credit cards? You just do this. Beep. That's it. No suffering, no dramatic wallet funeral. It feels less like spending money and more like skipping a YouTube ad. And this changes everything. Studies show people spend way more with cards than cash. Because credit cards remove friction. And humans make terrible decisions when friction disappears. This is why people order food at 2 a.m., buy things from TikTok Shop, and somehow own 14 water bottles simultaneously. Nobody needs 14 water bottles. Your ancestors survived entire winters drinking from suspicious rivers. Meanwhile, modern humans are like, "I need the insulated emotional support hydro flask." Now here's where banks become terrifyingly smart. They discovered humans will do absolutely anything for points. Airline miles, cashback, rewards. Humans see 2% cashback and immediately lose all critical thinking abilities. Suddenly, people start saying things like, "Well, technically, if I spend $4,000, I get a free blender." Brother, you already own a blender. In fact, you bought 3 blenders because one had smart AI smoothie technology. What does that even mean? Is the blender judging me now? Pathetic fruit selection, Daniel. But rewards programs work because they hijack your dopamine system. Your brain focuses on reward, not consequence, which is basically how casinos operate. Casinos looked at human psychology and said, what if we turned addiction into architecture? And banks looked at casinos and went, write that down. Now we arrive at the most evil sentence in modern finance. Minimum payment, which sounds harmless, like minimum effort, minimum responsibility, minimum emotional damage. What it actually means is, congratulations, your debt has now entered multiplayer mode. Because banks don't really want you to pay everything immediately. That ruins the business model. The ideal customer isn't someone rich, it's someone permanently medium broke, financially marinating forever, like a debt rotisserie chicken. Because once interest appears, your money enters a horror movie. Interest is basically debt reproducing, aggressively. You buy one sandwich. Then suddenly 3 months later, your sandwich costs $40, your mental stability, and somehow your credit score. And credit card interest rates are insane. 20%, 25%, 30%. Loan sharks look at this and go, dude, relax. But the scary part? Most humans don't understand exponential growth emotionally. Because human brains are designed for hunting animals, avoiding snakes, and arguing about berries, not compound interest. That's why people ignore small problems forever until they evolve into medieval disasters. Debt works the same way. Tiny, harmless purchases slowly merge together into one gigantic financial megazord. At first, just one sandwich, then just one online order. Then suddenly, your banking app opens like a Dark Souls boss fight. And now you're eating instant noodles while your credit card debt owns property in multiple countries. But the most dangerous thing credit cards do is quietly changing what feels normal. At first, you buy one expensive thing, and your brain goes, nice. But then your standards upgrade permanently. Suddenly, regular bread tastes poor. Now you need artisan bread, imported cheese, ethically massaged tomatoes, and water filtered through Icelandic mountain rocks blessed by monks. Humans adapt to comfort very quickly. That's why billionaires eventually start buying gold toilets, diamond watches, and NFT monkeys wearing sailor hats, which still somehow sounds like a scam invented during a fever dream. Social media makes this way worse, because now every app is just rich people emotionally attacking you. You open Instagram for 4 seconds and immediately see a guy in Dubai, somebody buying a Lamborghini at age 19, a couple renovating a marble kitchen, and a crypto influencer yelling, "If you're not making $50,000 a month, wake up." Brother, I am trying to microwave pasta. Please calm down. But this creates fake pressure. People stop buying things because they need them. They buy things because they want to feel successful. And emotional spending is capitalism's favorite food source. Now, to be fair, banks are not evil cartoon villains sitting inside volcanoes. They're businesses, very smart businesses. And credit cards are one of the greatest business models ever invented. Because banks make money from interest, late fees, transaction fees, annual fees, and probably spiritual fees somehow. Every time you swipe your card, somewhere in the distance, a bank executive rises another inch into the air like an evil wizard gaining power. And the perfect customer for banks is not someone drowning in debt. That's risky. They want customers who stay just comfortable enough to keep spending forever. Financially moisturized. Now honestly, credit cards themselves are not evil. They're tools, useful tools. Fraud protection, travel rewards, building credit. The real problem is giving humans unlimited spending power when humans are biologically programmed to chase dopamine, ignore consequences, and say, "I'll sleep early tonight," before accidentally watching conspiracy documentaries about Atlantis until 3 a.m. Humans are not rational creatures. We are emotionally unstable raccoons holding smartphones, which means the best defense against credit card traps is making spending feel real again. Because once spending becomes visible, your brain wakes up. And suddenly maybe, just maybe, you realize you do not actually need the titanium Bluetooth toaster, the luxury sandwich subscription, or the candle that smells like Scandinavian thunderstorm, which honestly just smells like wet wall. Subscribe for more overly simplified explanations of complicated things. Next time we might explain inflation using pizza, taxes using raccoons, or the economy using emotionally unstable pigeons, which honestly would still probably qualify as financial education.